Hello everyone, and let's talk about the benefits of strategic check-ins for your generative AI projects. Regular check-ins are a great tool for balancing innovation with oversight. They can foster collaboration, you can use them to provide feedback to generative AI team leaders, and they help ensure that your projects on generative AI remain aligned with your business goals. They can address concerns about micromanagement by focusing on value creation and by focusing on checking in on whether the teams leading generative AI projects need more resources. So you're not micromanaging them, you're offering support, you're offering resources, you're offering feedback. They enable leaders to act as facilitators rather than micromanagers and controllers, and helps also ensure that you follow the age-old advice of trust but verify, that you make sure to continue alignment while giving people sufficient rope to go out and make their own choices and own the project. How do you structure these check-ins? There are several types. You can do weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly meetings to provide consistent progress reviews. That's one type of structure that I often recommend to my clients. Another type of structure that should be used alongside the regular check-ins is a milestone review on key phases like training or prototyping. Finally, have informal updates for just briefly checking in on immediate issues and sharing quick wins and learning what's going on. When you do these check-ins, make sure there's open discussion on progress, challenges, and resource needs, and foster psychological safety to encourage more honest dialogue and innovation. For psychological safety, as my friend Amy Edmondson talks about, is the ability to feel like you can take risks and make mistakes without being punished for it. Of course, you shouldn't just make mistakes for the sake of making mistakes. You should make mistakes for the sake of learning and doing new things. When you do new things, you'll inevitably make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. If you're not making mistakes, you're not doing enough new things. You're not innovating enough. So have psychological safety for your teams on generative AI projects. Let me tell you about a case study where I worked with a mid-sized bank that faced high call volumes and long wait times. I told them about a study by McKinsey Research showing an up to 45% boost in customer service productivity using generative AI, and they have a separate study focusing on specifically on credit customer service, which also found that there's a 40-ish% boost in customer service if you use generative AI. So the leadership working with me decided to implement a chatbot to handle more routine inquiries and leave more complex ones for their agents. So we designed a bi-weekly check-in every 2 weeks to ensure progress and foster collaboration, address challenges, check in on resource needs, focusing on alignment with strategic goals as part of it, including enhancing response times and customer satisfaction. We addressed the training challenges for the chatbot by expanding the data sets with specialized financial texts. So that's one of the issues we found, that there were training challenges, that the chatbot was not sufficiently capable of doing specialized financial conversation. So we supplemented it with financial texts. And we also made sure that it's fine-tuned for complex terminology that has to do with financial jargon. As a result, we had really nice results: 25% reduction in call waiting times and 15% increase in customer satisfaction, with an overall 250,000 annual savings on customer support. So, thinking about check-ins, they should evolve with the project and your maturity as a generative AI informed organization. Have regular assessments of how check-ins are doing to make sure they remain effective and relevant. Sometimes a bi-weekly structure is good, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly. Check in on how you're doing with your check-ins. So do a meta check-in on how the whole approach is going. They help reinforce, if you do have this approach, it'll help reinforce a culture of collaboration, learning, and innovation, and help ensure that generative AI disruption is transformed into a business opportunity for you. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you checked out the show and leave a review. It helps others discover the show and helps us improve the show. Oh, and if you have any questions, please email me at Gleb, Gleb, @disasteravoidanceexperts.com.